This is Level Up. Here we discuss some of the most influential video games in history. We take a look at story, gameplay, design, and finally, our rankings. So get your Doritos, Mountain Dew, and controller. It's time to press start. Welcome everyone to Leveled Up. This is going to be our side series of what we usually do from our top 5, where we go in depth of specific video games that we enjoy from many years ago or even current right now. I'm Squeaks. I am joined here today by Frank.
Hey guys.
And today's topic, we are going to go over Kingdom Hearts. It's honestly my favorite game of all time. It's so favorite to me that I have a Keyblade tattooed on my chest.
Oh God.
And I love Kingdom Hearts. Frank, why don't you just tell us or tell everyone how we are going to go through this topic.
So this will be kind of how things are done for all of our level up programs. We're going to start off with the developer and the release. Then we're going to level up every time, like a regular old school Mario game. Level 1 is story. Level 2, gameplay. Level 3, design. And level 4 is our final review. You guys hear that paper sound because we're classic around here. And that final level is where we do a review and our pros and cons and just how good it feels to us. And then we're going to go ahead and rate it. And then we're going to see if it makes our top 5 for that genre. So that's basically it. And so we'll start off with it's Kingdom Hearts. I'll go over real quick. The developer was Square. This is before Square Enix time.
Squaresoft.
It was called Squaresoft?
Squaresoft, I think.
It could be.
They label it Square, but then you have like Squaresoft, and then they turn to Square Enix later.
Well, Enix was going to merge with them, but Square was going through a lot of financial trouble, so they were kind of worried about it. Okay. Square pulled this rabbit out of the magic hat and was able to pull out an amazing game, and it ended up locking things down. They partnered with Disney Interactive to make the game. The game director, lead director was, and forgive me for the names, it's outside the norm for me, Tetsuya Nomura. And it was released in Japan on PS2. I played it on PS2. You played it on PS2, right? PS2, yeah. It didn't release for any other systems, I think, right?
No, until like a PSP came out. But
okay.
It was all PlayStation.
So for PS2 in Japan, released March 28th, 2002. America, we got ours September 17th, 2002. And then Japan only got this one called the Final Mix. So it was Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Yeah, well, Japan only. That had added cutscenes and some enemy bosses, and that was on December 26th, 2002. So, so here we go. Kingdom Hearts, level 1. Go. Squeaks, story.
All right, what do we got? Story's about 3, children at the time. Sora, Riku, and Kairi living on this island, just going day-to-day life activity until this darkness swarms in and takes over the island, whatnot, and they all get separated into
Destiny
different
Island.
worlds. Yeah, Destiny Island. And they all get separated into different worlds. So Sora, the main protagonist, is going through these different types of worlds scattered across the universe and try to find his friends Riku and Kairi while meeting our beloved Disney characters along the way. He's joined with Donald and Goofy, but they have a different kind of path that they want because of this weapon that Sora holds as the Keyblade. And they have kind of different missions, but they mingle along with each other. Donald and Goofy want to find King Mickey Mouse. Sora wants to find his friends, but through the process, they also fight the Heartless and seal these many keyholes in different worlds they go through. That's just it in a nutshell, real quick.
Okay, so things that I want to make sure to toss into. The reason they're sealing these keyholes is because when they do that, the heart of the world can't be corrupted. Mm-hmm. Donald and Goofy, he runs into them in Traverse Town, and they ride those gummy ships. Remember those gummy ships? Yeah. Kind of a fun little side game in there. Riku, oh boy, oof. He ends up joining up with Maleficent and a lot of the Disney villains who are trying to find the 7 princess hearts. So, because they can unlock the final Kingdom Hearts gate, which unlocks a kingdom of hearts, and it unlocks basically infinite knowledge and power. So you have that storyline going on. They brainwashed Riku into thinking that Sora ditched him to join his new friends, Donald and Goofy. So you kind of have that going on, and you have the Sora going on. And explain the Keyblade a little more. What's the deal with this Keyblade? Why is it so important?
Well, how it is in the beginning is it's the weapon to seal all the keyholes. So, like you said, the heart of the world corrupted and darkness from spewing out from it. It's the only weapon that can. Also, it helps defeat any of the darkness themselves.
It can hurt Heartless.
Yes,
there's a big key to it. Yeah.
And that's the key to it. Weapon. Yeah.
I really like the Heartless in this game. I think it was a good way of showing kind of like almost a cartoony version of the coming evil, which is a trope in many movies and video games, like a coming darkness, a coming evil. But they kind of had like a cartoony feel to them. The littlest version of the little minion ones were really cool.
But the little ones, like the basic ones, are so iconic to me now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Plushes
even
everywhere.
I don't even care about any of the huge monsters. I just really like that little guy.
Yeah. How did you feel about the villain threat? Did you feel like it was a big part of the game? Like, did it actually make you need to hurry up and get the game done?
I wouldn't say hurry up to get the game done, but I do like the villains in it, in the way that there's these little Heartless, and then there's these boss battles of big Heartless.
Yeah.
But then you're working towards to like your villain of the Disney character. So in, let's just say Tarzan, you're going around doing your little thing with the little Heartless. They just pop up anywhere on the island. But then you encounter this chameleon, which is a big chameleon Heartless that you've had this fight with. So you're already having those kind of enemies, and then at the end you're fighting Clayton, where there's your Disney villain. So I feel like they did a pretty cool job of mixing a bunch of villains into this game. Yeah, or like different.
It still felt like you were part of the Tarzan world in that level and stuff like that. That was a good world too, because you had to slide on the trees. It was pretty cool. And then the big bad of the whole game was Ansem, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's the one, I think he corrupted Riku towards the end. He possessed him, yeah.
Yes.
And then I think at some point, so he's kind of like the big bad. And he's the final boss you fight when you're in front of the Kingdom Hearts door. You and Mickey. I think that's about it for story-wise. Anything else? Character development, I think, was solid. We saw Riku go through the most change. It's funny because you're not playing him, but you see him go through the most change, and you actually really feel for him. Sora developed, yes, mostly because he was just an innocent kid on Destiny Island. Then all of a sudden he's out there seeing different worlds. So you kind of felt like you were discovering new worlds with him. So that was kind of his development. Probably the least developed character, which is a real symptom of Disney, actually, is she was just the damsel in distress the whole time.
Yes.
Just somebody that needs to be saved, kind of like a Peach in Mario games.
Yes.
So that was probably somebody that could have used a little bit more, maybe trying to show.
And the first one. They developed it later on, but we're not going into
Yeah. So we're just going to the first game. So good point. So I think that's it for level 1. Here we go. Level up. Level 2, gameplay. Any innovations in this game you thought no other game had?
I cared about leveling up Donald and Goofy.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe you don't really play with the characters at all, but if you focus on making sure they have specific items on them and certain moves that they have, which you unlock later on, they'll actually make your battles easier for yourself.
Yeah. Your companions were useful, and they actually had kind of like class or role. So if you're familiar with RPGs and stuff like that, Donald was your spellcaster, your mage-like class, and Goofy was kind of a tank-like class,
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. And then,
Donald would. My favorite thing about Donald is when you get to that low level and it's blinking, your low life, and you're blinking. Donald would heal you if he has whatever.
Well, I don't know if I did that. I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel controls was, the fighting style and the camera? How do you think the basics of normal gameplay? How did you think that felt in this game?
The only camera issue I'd run into is when I
had plenty of them. I hated the camera in this game.
What I hated the most, and maybe this is just your same reasoning, is when a big monster or a Heartless would maybe jump up or do something, and then you're kind of next to a wall, but then it's trying to look at that creature,
right?
But the creature's not in view.
It's got bad angles, and what's the worst part of it all? It's got bad angles. That happens with a lot of games, especially at this point because it was early 3D platformer. This is something I probably should have mentioned before. This was an attempt to counter Mario 64. The reason Square wanted to make sure to get Nintendo or something like Nintendo is they wanted something as iconic as Mario for their 3D platformer. So that's why they ended up going for Mario or for Disney. But so you had the wonky visuals always happen with the camera. My problem is when something bad happened, you couldn't bounce back right away because to turn the camera was the bumpers. You remember that? You didn't use the other analog. One analog was for controlling your character. You use the bumpers to control the camera.
I think on the HD versions though, because I just played them, it is the analog.
Oh, thank God. Okay, that's worth playing then. Because the other analog was used for your spells. Remember how you quick access your spell? Which is kind of a cool gameplay if I had a third analog. It was just, it felt real wonky not being able to. And so I remember very well, like Alice in Wonderland was, I had such a hard time in that world.
Which one are you talking
Which was
about?
like so the beginning. I think it was the jumping around on mushrooms or something like that.
Okay.
Just because the camera angle wasn't quite right, so you're kind of like trying to jump at a weird angle because you're not seeing the whole thing. And I'm doing hand motions that you can't see on the podcast. But there was, it was really hard. Any other gameplay stuff you can think of? The fighting style. How do you think that was?
The fighting was okay with me. I like how we were able to use spells and combat. Well, melee heavy.
It was fast paced too, which is kind of nice. Kind of a hack and slash, but it's still useful.
And then some of it's pretty tough, man. Like if you play on normal, these bosses are crazy.
What about that? You remember that secret boss in the Aladdin world?
No, there's a secret boss and
yeah, when you go fight like Raj or like not Raj, the sand tiger. There's a way to like activate a secret boss in that world, and he's like this big dude. He actually looks like a World of Warcraft boss. But man, that dude, he was so hard that I was like, okay, go back to last save. I didn't see him.
Yeah, there's one also. If you get super high in Olympus, you fight Sephiroth from Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing videos for that. That's where I was at.
One match, I'm like, no, I'm cool. I'm not gonna do this.
How did you like that Hercules thing? That was kind of like a return and play, like an arena, like you'll see in Skyrim and stuff like that, or Oblivion.
I liked it because I like leveling up.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm having difficulty, I'll just go back to that level, do a couple tournaments, and then kind of get my level higher. Yeah,
it was a nice way to kind of shake it up a little bit too, to kind of get out of the funk of like I'm stuck in the mermaid world. How do I get out of this thing?
That's a beautiful world.
I hated that world. Okay, so let's do that real quick.
Okay.
What was your favorite?
That 1 or 2?
That's number 1.
Okay.
Oh, I remember because I hate any game that puts it a swimming level.
Yeah, I think 2. I think it's also in.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's like
a Little Mermaid fan, everyone.
Don't get me wrong. I love Little Mermaid. Some of the best music in all of Disney's library.
Yeah.
Terrible level because you're swimming around and you're trying to like get yourself angled just right. You already has a bad camera, so then you throw a third axis on that thing going up and down. Oh my God, it's
I feel like if you target it, if you lock on them, then it helps a little.
Well, for the fighting, yeah, but I'm just talking about trying to like interact with Flounder. Yeah. So, what was your favorite level and your least favorite level?
Oh man.
Or world? They were called worlds.
I have to think about this one. It's been a little bit. I don't know. What's yours first?
My favorite, Jack Skellington level.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, dude. They had the music going the whole time. Your costume, because your costume and Keyblade changed every time. Both those were amazing.
Yeah, I might.
And my least is Little Mermaid because go die in a fire. That was terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, I hated that level so much, man.
You know, I might stick with you on that one. Out of all the worlds, and for the first one, that's the only one that is really awesome. You know what it is though is any world that you go to and it changes your outfit.
Yeah,
I think that already sells me.
Didn't every world do it to a degree? Even the Winnie the Pooh one didn't it put like extra stitches or something like that in there.
Yeah, nothing.
I thought for sure that one did.
Only Alice in Wonderland didn't have it.
Oh, okay. I can see that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Only I have to look at the worlds again.
Okay.
But I know Nightmare Before Christmas was one of them for sure. I can't think of the other ones, the other worlds.
You had like a little,
obviously.
Yeah, and you had like a little pumpkin hat, or maybe Donald had a little pumpkin hat or something like that.
Yeah, you have a pumpkin hat. Donald was a mummy.
Yeah,
and then Goofy is like some crazy clown looking.
They were awesome. It was good. It was a good one. Menus and shops. How did you feel like they had like the interacting with things?
Man, I'm horrible. I didn't give a shit about any of that kind of stuff.
What I didn't like is the cutscenes were fantastic, but like they had good audio and stuff like that. But there wasn't a lot of when I go to a shopkeeper, and it's a Nintendo plague, and so I'm not surprised that Square trying to copy Mario did this. I don't want to read. Those are for books.
Heck yeah.
Don't give me.
It loses you too.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, hold on, let me focus on this, and you know, and do all that. So
especially with what you have to read, it's so much, and then you're just like, I don't know.
Just for a shopkeeper, open the damn shop. Yeah. Let me get my sell and buy on. And then moving around the shop was a little bit old school, which okay, the game came out in 2002, so it's unexplainable or understandable. Yeah. But I think with Kingdom Hearts 3, which is slated to come out whenever. Hopefully that menu is amazing.
I try not to look at it.
Well, I'm looking forward to the next trailer that's coming at E3, and then they'll hold me off till the next trailer that comes at E3.
For the next year. Yeah, the shops. I had no desire to ever go to them. I didn't want to buy anything from them. I didn't care. They were just there to me. But I never. I saved all my money because I don't know. I guess bought a couple potions here and there. But
yeah. Potions were useful.
There was a secret Keyblade too at the end. Dang, I forgot what it's called. But you have to make certain potions and whatnot, and whatever together, and give it to the shop, and it makes it for you.
I think the main Keyblade I used the whole time, as much as I could, was a Claymore Keyblade. You remember that one?
Is that?
It's like this big, thick, big old one. It was just huge. It wasn't even really decorative. I don't really. Looking back, I don't see why.
Gray and purple.
I want to say it was almost like a brick. Maybe it was gray and purple.
Yeah, I think that's Clouds. You get that from Cloud from Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Like a battle with him, but yeah, it's like it's a huge ass brick looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use that one most of the time too. Until you get like Oblivion later on or something. I don't
They did a cool job with all the keys. Really felt unique and neat,
especially when they're matching the world.
Yeah, definitely. So the only thing that I really went for the shop for was to buy parts for my gummy ship. I love my ship. You didn't do that?
You like the gummy ship thing?
I liked the gummy ship thing. It was a good way to kind of like, do something different.
Got fast travel. I was like, nah, fast travel.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But I felt like that was pretty cool. You think if you were to make it again, would you have that in there or no?
If I were to make
if you were to re-release Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
And you're the guy who's in charge. You're the new game director. Are you putting in gummy ships?
Oh my gosh. I want to say no, but I'll probably get a lot of backlash. So if I did gummy ships, it would definitely have to be like way more intense.
Maybe you get more of a reward or something like that too.
Something.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Star Fox style type of.
Well, I think that's what they tried for.
Yeah. I wasn't digging it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's it for level 2. I think we're leveling up, man. Level 3, design. All right. What'd you think of the graphics? We're talking. In general, wonderful.
Oh yeah.
So what about?
It was almost where so when video games came out, they're all blocks, and then you have like I always called them back when I was younger 3D cutscenes or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Cutscenes that are really nice graphics.
Yeah.
And then you go back to blocks. This one, I mean, it had its beautiful cutscenes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The gameplay was close to the cutscene level.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. Where it wasn't such like I'm trying to think of something like watching a PS1 Lara Croft game or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's such a difference, but then it's like,
can I be that person that I just saw?
Yeah. But then we're getting to the times where it's getting close to each other. Now it's like not even cutscenes anymore. But back then, it's like the game still looks as beautiful as the cutscene. So.
Yeah. So I think they were good. I think that I think the cutscenes. There's one specifically that I remember that I thought was like, oh my god, this is movie worthy. Where Sora wakes up like in the water in Destiny Island or something like that, and like the water moved in like that was they had very clearly. I remember the stars showing and then rippling with the water. Yeah. I actually the cutscenes were fantastic. Mm-hmm. The gameplay was very good. The graphics during gameplay was very good, but the cutscenes in this game were out of this world. Oh, yeah. I thought so. Okay, so let's break this down. So let's go level design. I thought the level design was good, but you could see your limitations pretty obviously.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking of Aladdin World. Remember when you were like confined in a bazaar, and you felt very trapped, and like you had to find the little thing you needed to get your way past whatever.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way. Oh no, maybe that's number 2 actually. But I know what you mean though, because it's just a track, but they try to make it look open world.
Exactly.
But yeah, the level design is just whatever to me.
There's a lot of forced perspective too. Like you look, going back to Aladdin, you were looking through one of the archways, and you'd see like open desert. It made it look real big, but you can't go through that archway.
Exactly.
Or on the Nightmare Before Christmas level, favorite level, but it was like, oh, look, this big hill here that you should be able to climb on, and you go up to it, just like you hop or you jump as much as you can. We've all done that. Try to break the game. Yeah. You just can't get over it. So I kind of felt like their perspectives to try to make us feel like it's a bigger world made me actually notice how small it was. Because I don't know if it was done right or whatever. But that's, again, it could be a limitation of PlayStation 2, but I remember thinking like Tony Hawk, not thinking that those levels are small, and they probably are smaller than, but it felt like you can do so much more in them, It felt like it was a lot more
I guess
open.
they did a good job of that, like you were saying, where it looks bigger, but you're really just in a small little tiny block. Yeah. Each one, it's like, okay, here's a door, that's the one you need to go to, or alleyway, or whatever the heck,
They kept you on rails the whole time. Yeah. What do you think about so the character design, the actual graphics on your character, faces, clothing?
I super liked it.
Yeah.
I don't see any issues that I would have with them. I mean, they all look perfect to me. I mean, I don't see.
They went with the over stylized look on everything, so like the cartoony look on everything, so that it kind of fits in the
Super
Disney.
bright, colorful.
Yeah,
that was my favorite part of it. But those crazy outfits for everyone.
Yeah,
just regular.
Even like if you think of like Sora's shoes, I remember very well Sora's shoes.
Super big ass goofy shoes.
Yeah, that's basically
yeah.
The thing that took me out of it, it was super cool, but it took me out of it. Was seeing Cloud and seeing all the Final Fantasy guys come in, because then it was like, okay, you guys don't belong here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, actually,
they were cool, and I was happy to see them.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about character design, visuals. They take you out of the game.
I wish they could have changed their costumes a little bit. Now that I'm thinking about it, because they were just what they were in their.
It's like they
Final
took
Fantasy game.
Exactly.
No, if you were to say, like, let's just say, what's his name? One of the. Whatever, a Final Fantasy character, and you put the same type of outfit on, but maybe add some color to it, then it's like, all right, I can see you being in this world now.
Or even a more cartoony version of their outfit. The face, I don't want to say go to a cartoony Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to say that, because we've seen that a few of the Final Fantasies. I'm not a fan. But if you were to make it to where they felt like their clothes were, because we'll go back to the shoes. You had Sora, this kid who had goofy shoes on, and then you got like Cloud. I keep using Cloud because I remember him very well. Yeah. He had like his normal shoes from his original games, and it just kind of like you definitely don't belong here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it just kind of was something I think that could have been worked on. Next thing on design, what do you think about the music of the game? Anything that stands out to you?
No, I kind of don't care about the music.
You're crazy, man.
No, okay.
It's so good in this game.
I don't care about gameplay music, but I do freaking love the theme songs for the Kingdom Hearts. Like, I'll still listen to it. Like,
it's great. Yeah.
You taught a Hickory or something.
It's got it's got a good piano, like, where it hooks you in real.
Oh yeah, super good. But I'm thinking like if you're just like, not battle scenes. Battle scenes are kind of upbeat, but when you're just kind of strolling.
When you're strolling around in the Tavers, what is it called? Tavers Town or whatever. That music is stuck in my brain forever.
Really? What the?
Just that strolling around music, I could almost hum it, but I don't want to embarrass myself. But then it was cool whenever you went to like another planet. I'll put it in too. I'll cut the music in so people can hear a little piece of what I'm talking about. But then like when you went to Little Mermaid World, you kind of had that vibe, a little bit of the. I'm not sure which track it was from Little Mermaid, but it was in there.
That's awesome. Yeah. But when they did their own thing, I was like, it's cool. I guess it's whatever.
The Tavers Town, man, that's in my brain. I always remember that one. All right, so design-wise, I think we're at that last level. I think we're leveling up. Final level, man. Your opinion of the overall game. What do you think? What's your pros and cons overall on this whole thing?
Oh man, pros, everything, cons, nothing.
Man.
Like I said, it's my favorite game of all time.
That's some bias right there. Yeah.
Favorite game of all time. Like I said, we had problems with the cameras, maybe some better character design on these Final Fantasy characters. But I enjoyed every single world. I loved every single time you got to experience it brand new.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty neat. I liked how we were experiencing, I'll just say Alice in Wonderland, in a different story than what we're used to from the movie. So we're seeing characters in different elements.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Interacting with different,
because you actually...
Like you have Donald talking to the Mad Queen or Red Queen.
I think he even beat Ursula, which movie-wise, you're changing history.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting thing, too.
So to see like an alternate universe.
Yeah, there you go, alternate universe.
Characters, I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, I think gameplay does not age well. So we see. I think Final Fantasy nowadays kind of took a little bit of the fighting out of that game, because it feels like the newer Final Fantasy kind of have a little bit of that fighting. That was in that Kingdom Hearts game. But just your movement and everything like that, it felt very. All the angles were a little too sharp. It just didn't age well. It really needs the rework. Okay, but on straight up visuals, gorgeous game. Oh yeah, beautiful. Oh yeah. When you're in name one of these other worlds. When you're in the Tarzan world, you feel like you're in the jungle. The one in particular, I want to say it's called Bastion. Hollow Bastion. Yeah. Oh boy, when I first went there, that blew my mind. That was gorgeous.
All the platforms and the gears or whatever on the walls and stuff like that.
It was just gorgeous, masterpiece, really. But so I take the visuals. I'd say those are timeless. But I take the gameplay, especially the movement and the camera, that needs some updating. So I think it's really kind of high and middle of the road for me. Yeah. So let's say out of 100, we got two different rating systems we're going to try out right now. Okay. We'll narrow these down at some point down the road. Okay. Out of 100, what do you give this game?
Out of 100.
Remember, we talked about everything. So
No. I'm trying. Out of 100 Keyblades, I would give it 90 Keyblades.
90 Keyblades. Oh wow. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give it 82 Keyblades.
82 Keyblades. Why the random number?
Because it's better than 80 Keyblades. Not quite an 85 Keyblade game. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna save them 3 other Keyblades in the back pocket, just for. All right. So, what would you say the genre of this game is if you were to just shoot it out there? Probably 3D platformer. I think is the best way to go.
Yeah, but don't you think it's a little action adventure?
It's action adventure, but I think if we were to narrow it down a little more, I think it would be.
Because of the cartoony look, you're going.
Well, 3D platform. So we're gonna put it against Banjo-Kazooie. We're gonna put it against the Mario's.
Yeah.
So top 5. Does it break your top 5?
Oh, 100%.
You think it breaks? Where's it at in your top 5?
Of what, platforms? Or are we
of 3D platform. Oh no, 3D platformers.
Oh, shit, I don't know. Let's do some thinking.
Well, we're right here. Let's do some thinking.
Maybe 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
If I had to take a shot out of it and randomly take a shot at it, I'd do 2 or 3. Yeah.
I'd say it breaks it. I'd say it's probably number 4.
Okay.
Maybe 3. I would say at least number 4. But it's a good one. It's a good one. All right. So, any final thoughts on Kingdom Hearts before we go? Any suggestions? Anybody play any certain specific Kingdom Hearts game for the next time? I personally really like the DS game myself. The DS Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, the 3DS or DS?
The 3DS one.
3DS is badass.
Yeah, it's a really cool background story of the whole.
Yeah, and it kind of continues on because we've been waiting forever. I'm tired of the side story.
Yeah.
I'm tired of Kingdom Hearts giving me a bunch of here's your trail, but we're gonna veer you off every single game.
Yeah.
Like, okay, come on, let's continue. And that's a little part of it. It's veering you off, but it's getting further into the final Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's filling up some holes.
Dang, there was that 2.5 that HD one that came out, but it had Aqua from Birth by Sleep. It's supposed to be like a pretty cool of Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
And the graphics on that is what we're gonna see in number 3. Oh my god.
Really?
Yeah.
What systems is it available on?
PS4.
PS4.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta break my heart and buy it. Okay, I see how it is.
It is good. It's short. It's I don't know, maybe 2 hours long, but it's kind of like a little.
Well, that is very short.
I feel like it's just showing off Kingdom Hearts 3, and it is freaking gorgeous.
Stop teasing us.
Everything that we didn't like about this one, it's already solved.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
easy.
I'll check it out then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. That's our final level. Game over. Great job, y'all, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to Level Up, a show on the Top 5 Network. If you have any suggestions on what games we should review next, then you can join us on Twitter at the Top 5 Cast and use hashtag Level Up. Thanks again for listening.